How's it going, everybody? Damian G on behalf of the Big Gold Belt Media Group / podcast, sitting here with Christi Jaynes. Coffee time with Christi, in case you didn't see the coffee mugs right here. So, you and I, you good?
I almost spilled it,
Okay.
so you know.
You don't want to spill the coffee?
No.
Because from what I hear, you spill coffee a lot.
I do. Normally in paper cups, I have to be really careful, extra careful when I use like my superhero mugs at home or my Disney mugs because they're collectibles, and if I break one, it'll be really hard for me to get another one.
Oh, we're going to break that down later when we get to the Disney stuff. But, so we're here in Dallas. Last night you worked a match on behalf of Impact against Kiera Hogan. I know a lot of fans out there probably are salivating at the thought of you two working together. So if you can break down a little bit of the match last night, your thoughts on it, basically how you feel coming out of it, things like that.
Yeah, so last night was Bash of the Brewery 2, which most people don't know. I was on Bash of the Brewery, the very first one, in July, and it was awesome. Absolutely amazing just to be around that kind of talent, the Impact talent. It was great. So the first time I was there, I did a pre-show match, so it wasn't aired. Not everyone at home got to watch it. But last night was truly amazing for me because I got to work Kiera Hogan. She is fire at WoW. She holds half of the tag team titles over there, and just to be able to share a locker room with all the different Impact stars, and their women's roster is amazing. They have some of the best women out there in professional wrestling right now, and I am just looking forward to many more possible opportunities to be able to work with them and Access TV.
Okay. Well, on behalf of that, on that point, the last year of your career, you've dealt with a couple of injuries here and there. How are you feeling lately? Are you healed? Like, is it something where you feel like it's holding you back in the ring? Where are you at both physically and mentally right now?
So right now, it's the start of a new decade. So I am 100%. I am ready to take this new decade and make it mine and my own, and to kind of create a path for myself and become a staple in professional wrestling. So I just see so many great opportunities. There's so many great talent out there, women and men, that I just want to wrestle all of them. And last night it was really great to watch some intergender wrestling, and it was amazing to watch a company actually embrace that. So I would absolutely love the opportunity to be able to do that with Access TV and Impact, essentially.
Okay. So being that intergender wrestling is kind of a big thing over the last maybe year and a half or so, are you one of those talents that initially may have had reservations about working in intergender kind of a talent, or have you kind of just said, to heck with it, it's the thing, I like it, I want to do it? Like, which side of the fence were you on initially versus now?
Right. So growing up, I was always the girl that kind of had to help break down barriers. I was on the boys' football team. Not a lot of people know this. I was a tight end. My mom actually had to go to the district because they did not want me to play football. No girl was going to play on a boys' team. So I've kind of always been pro, let us just intermingle with one another when it comes to sports. However, it's not lost that men, in some cases, are stronger than women. So that's not lost. However, there are so many women out there that are, in some cases, stronger than men. Jordan Grace, for one, you know, she's a powerhouse. Taya Valkyrie, she's super strong. So I feel like maybe back in the day, it was maybe a little scarier for me to come into a sport with men, and that in my head, that they are maybe a little bit stronger. But now with women, joining bodybuilding and joining different sports and being able to do different sports, I think it's more like, it's a little more equal playing field. So I was super excited to know that I didn't have to fight as hard to be able to wrestle guys, I guess. So I was really excited when I went to Mexico and they were telling me, okay, so you guys are going to have these tag matches and it's with luchadors, and I'm like, wait, we can wrestle guys too. This is awesome. This is great. But I also love wrestling women one-on-one too.
Okay. So for those who are just tuning in, Damien G on behalf of Big Gold Belt Media, Big Gold Belt Podcast, was Christi Jaynes. So when you started working in Mexico, and you said that they initially said, hey, we're going to have you working with both men and women, is it one of those things where it took you a little while to get comfortable with it while actually doing it, or did you take it like a fish to water?
I think personal opinion, not a spectator's opinion.
Right, your opinion.
But personally, I think I just took to it like fish to water, right?
Okay.
I was just so used to always hanging out with the boys and being part of the boys. Like, I was on my junior high wrestling team. It was all boys. I was the only girl. I was on my swim team, which is really unusual for women not to be part of a swim team, but there weren't really. It was me and another girl that was part of the swim team, right? And then I joined football. I played hockey. I was like the only girl on there. So it was great. And the other thing is, I think it's amazing that women and men can share the same titles, right? So being able to have one title and say, well, whoever is the top talent is going to take it, whether it's male or female. Just knowing that that's available and you can set that as one of your goals is another thing that drives me and inspires me. So it's pretty exciting.
So piggybacking off, working with Impact, and you've worked with other promotions, you recently had a WWE tryout. So that's a lot of people's big kind of holy grail in wrestling, is to get that call to the Performance Center. So without giving away too many details, can you walk the viewers through what that was like for you in terms of just the preparation, when you got the call, being there, like that whole experience?
Well, most people don't know this, but I got the call to come in for a tryout almost 2 years, actually, yes, 2 years ago. But I was injured at the time, and they called me on the phone. I didn't get an email. They actually called my phone. And I pick it up, and they're like, this is so-and-so. And I did the whole bullshit. I don't know if I can say that right.
You can, yes.
But I said that, and they went, no, really. We'd like to extend an invitation out for you to come to the Performance Center, the PC, and try out for us. And I said, yes, absolutely, no problem. I'll be there. Here's my email address. Send it to me. Hang up the phone. My mom looks at me and goes, all right, so break this down to me. How is this tryout going to go? You're going to hobble in there on crutches into the ring. You can't even bend your leg yet. And you're going to, run across the ring, pick up people, body slam them, maybe do a moonsault. You can't even bend your knee. And then I just started crying. Because when you get that call, you are so excited. Because like you said, a lot of wrestlers, they want that contract. They want to reach the top tier. And so when I got that call, that's all I was thinking of. So then I had to call them back, crying, and be like, I'm so sorry. And it was just like that, too. And they were like, what? What'd she say? And they're like, do you want to call us back? No, I'm so sorry. I'm injured. And, I had to it was just the hardest thing for me. But I called them. They told me, call us when you're better. And I called them, and they gave me my tryout date. And I was I prepared for it, and when I got there, it was amazing just to be around that many legends. You know, their trainers have been around for a lot of years, and they just have so much knowledge, and to be able to be a part of it, it was very tiring, but at the same time, it was kind of eye-opening for me. And then the other thing is, between my first call and then actually going in there, AEW popped up.
Okay.
Right? And it was kind of like, wow, here's another promotion. And then Impact Women's Division started to kind of beef up, and they started to get, you know, more women in there that were actually able to use their creativity, and they were able to have these amazing matches without any handcuffs. And I got really excited. And so then when they invited me to be on the very first Bash of the Brewery with Impact and Access TV, I got really excited because I was like, oh my gosh, I get to get a little taste of this. And then when they called me back and said, hey, we actually want you to have a match with one of our female wrestlers, I was just over the moon about it, and it was such a great experience. Kiera Hogan is known everywhere, you know, throughout the UK, Japan, United States, Canada, and she is just amazing. She's an amazing wrestler. All their females are amazing out there.
Okay, so you've already handled that already this part of the year. It's still January. I mean, it's 2020, like you said, new millennium, all that jazz. So what are your 2020 goals? I know it sounds cliche. It's like, oh, what are your resolutions?
Right.
But what are your 2020 goals for you throughout the whole calendar year?
So I think going into this new decade, and just this year particularly, is that I want all of my matches to be great main event matches. I don't have to be the main event, which I will be. That is my goal.
Okay.
But I want all of my matches to have that fire about them and to be that exciting and that connection, you know, with all the fans. And then, you know, potentially be able to work with this wonderful promotion that I had an opportunity to work for and with yesterday. And, you know, overall, maybe one day challenge somebody, whoever holds their Impact title at the time, for, you know, a main event title match, whether it be Sami Callihan or whether it be Taya. You know, I want that opportunity to show the world that I deserve a chance to, you know, be in that match.
So when you tell the world that you deserve it, we all say like, oh, what separates you from everybody else? But in your own words, your long road to get here, injuries and all, just what exactly drives you to be who you are?
I, like most wrestlers, have overcome a lot of diversity. I'm a foreigner, so I know what fight is. And I know what sacrifice is. And I have sacrificed a lot to be here. But not just for me, but for every immigrant that has come to America and has had to put personal things on the line for it. And I am willing to do whatever it takes to get there, for good or bad. And I'll get there.
Okay. All right, so last question, off the cuff completely, kind of a bit of a fluff question I like to ask people, but if not wrestling, if you weren't in wrestling, what other passions would you be following if not this?
I would probably be a nurse. I like taking care of people. It sounds kind of weird, but I would definitely do that, and probably with like dementia patients. So I was very close to my grandma. I'm going to start crying now, but I was very close to my grandma. She raised me, and she actually died when I started training, so she was never able to watch me wrestle. But I saw her get diagnosed with dementia, and the facilities they have they're good, but there are way too many patients per nurses. And so I just felt like even though they don't know what's going on and they're confused, they do need that extra care and love. So that's what I would do. Okay. Sorry, I'm a very real
no worries.
person.
Yeah, no,
Everything I do is very real. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, on behalf of Big Gold Belt Media, this is Damian G interviewing Christi Jaynes. Before we get out of here, any last bit of information, things you want to throw out, where to look out for you coming up soon?
Yeah, so tomorrow I have my ACW Hardcore Championship match. They will be Facebook living that match, so if you guys get on Anarchy Championship Wrestling, you can catch me doing that, and then just follow me on my Instagram and Twitter account, which is Christi Jaynes, and that's it. Christi with an I and Jaynes. I still have to spell that for people. Yeah, you should probably not make your people cry.
At this show, we like to go a little deeper, so a little deeper. Yeah, that's kind of what we do. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. Again, what was the name of the promotion for tomorrow?
Anarchy Championship Wrestling.
ACW. Thank you, and good night.